What is going on, everybody? It is David Palmer, the Leo King, and I'm here in my studio live doing my live stream where I talk about not only what's going on in the cosmos, but just what's happening in the world. And really, we are here on May 9th of 2017 to talk about some major transitions that are happening today, not only astrologically, but on the world stage, and how are they all connected? How are we going to deal with this spiritually? This is a show where I like to bring everybody together. We are live here on Facebook. We are live looking at the chat. I would do it from my iPhone, but what's so funny is we got Mercury Uranus Conjunct, and look at my phone. It looks amazing, doesn't it? I don't know if you could tell, but it's literally been, or actually I could show you on the next cam here. It is looking beautiful. That is what a beautiful iPhone looks like. Got a new one coming tomorrow, but this is Mercury Uranus. Like, some things just don't happen the right way. But this transition is definitely very intense for a lot of people that is happening right now in their lives here on May 9th of 2017, and it does come out of nowhere. We do have a lot of things that we're going to cover in the astrology today to tell you why that transition is happening, why it is coming out of nowhere, and how it is truly affecting people in a very intense way. A lot of people definitely kind of going through the shift of this period. This is a major shift. I've said this in a lot of my horoscopes. I did put up my uncut this week for free on YouTube, which you can watch. This, to me, is a portal that has opened. Now, from now until May 19th through the 21st is going to be this little, I guess you could say, portal aspect happening. There's this portal thing that's going on where we're going to be in between portals. There's this lounge that you wait at, and we've stepped into it. So a lot of people are feeling the shift in the air. And let's take a look at the astrology to see what's going on to help understand. And I'm going to try to make people understand this because there's a lot of complexity to this, and I want to make this simple to why you can feel that you're crossing over, per se, into a portal. And what is a portal? I mean, a portal is, in my opinion, a doorway into a spiritual new zone, a doorway into a new part of your life. And I think that you just don't walk into one portal and, kind of like in the show Sliders, and you're just there into that world. I believe that there's always a portal into a lounge, or you could call it a waiting room portal, and then you come in. I don't think that the universe... Sometimes I could see major portals just go into one portal and then you're into it, but usually there's a portal into a portal into a portal, if that makes sense. It's like God doesn't just throw us into a phase right away. And so it's interesting on this May 9th, we're going to go over what this new transition really is. Well, first of all, today, the nodes are officially in Leo Aquarius for the next 18 months, all right? So this is a big transition that happened. We are now into fixed energy, okay? Now, I always call the nodes kind of like the north in this. It's like your compass in life, okay? These aspects are really, truly like a compass. And they take 18 years to finally go all the way around back to this place. So the last time we had the North Node here, which I think I did on last week's video, was in October of 1998. So it's been a long time since the North Node has entered the 29th degree of Leo. This is also the most edgy and intense degree because there's a star that sits right here. It's called Regulus. And we showed in a last video how this was very intense because it deals with the rise of a king from the falling of a king and then back up, But what also is triggering this is this full moon in Scorpio, which is starting now. So we've got the fixed cross, technically. We did a lot of work last week showing you on how this is dealing with the Wheel of Fortune card, is dealing with a lot of aspects that deal with really aligning now with a very major cross zone. The other thing that is adding to this portal, which of course we're going to cover all this and give more detail, is look at this, the planet Mercury and Uranus, which are exactly conjunct. Let's get them on a circle so we can see them. Actually, let's throw these out of here. Let's see that. Oh, it's one of those days. There we go. See that? 25 degrees. So weird news coming up, weird, unpredictable stuff, a lot of stimulation, but we are out of the Pisces world. We are out of the Virgo world. And This is the best way that I can describe this transition zone with a full moon in Scorpio, North Node moving into Leo, and South Node in Aquarius is you got to keep going. You got to get up. You've got to rise up. One thing that you learned over the last 18 months of Virgo and Pisces is how to stay on track, how to fundamentally pull yourself out of the dumps. But when you come into Leo and Aquarius, you know what? It's the courage now. You know the skills. You know how to pull yourself out, but it's whether or not now you are going to be brave enough to do it. It's not about whether or not you can or can't do it. You know the skills in your life. You know what you have to do. Leo and Aquarius is the Energizer Bunny. It is the supercharged energy of light, of whether or not you're going to bring the light to the table or not. It's whether, you know, the sun's going to show up in that galaxy and sit there for 7 billion years and own a galaxy and own a bunch of planets and light them up and or not to become a black hole. I mean, this is a very black hole sun energetic vibration. It is a lot to do with whether or not you are going to step up when you fall down and rise up again in life, especially with the full moon in Scorpio, the rise of the phoenix. Sun in Taurus, of course, wants things to be grounded and naturistic and beautiful. But this is it's a full moon in Scorpio. It shows that there are darker shades of life. There are deeper things coming up from underneath the well of life. So there's a lot that's just coming up. And with Mercury conjunct Uranus, it's like, oh my gosh, weird critters, weird things that you weren't expecting to just happen in your life are happening. I thought today, the astrology in the news was reflected very, very well based off this transition point. So we're going to kind of go into a little bit of astro buzz here. But what I thought was the best interesting news and the most unpredictable thing that I didn't think was going to happen was Trump fired Comey today, the FBI director. So now, there's this kind of like left-hand curveball, like what's going on? There's like a whole entire shifting happening in the world. Remember in Donald Trump's case, it's conjuncting his North Node, or the North Node is now conjuncting his Leo rising at 29 degrees. And so, it's a very intense time, a lot of shifting happening, things coming out of left field, unpredictable, things coming out, exposing, there's a lot that is happening in our own lives. It's just like, wow, it was like, for me, and I don't mean to get too personal, but I'll get real. I get real with you guys. Nobody would want to watch me if I wasn't real. I came home, I raced this weekend. I came home and I got a letter in the mail from the IRS. They just paid all my taxes. Everything was good. And it was like, they want more money. It's like, what? Are you kidding me? And then, it was like a flub with my accountant that I have to now deal with, that I have to pay. So it was like, I was almost going to go down in the dumps when I woke up this morning. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I've noticed a lot of people today having this kind of like aspect, the full moon in Scorpio and with a North Node in Leo, like this is a lot of tests of what you went through in 2012 to 2015 on how, if you look deep at Scorpio Leo, I mean, when there's transformation that needs to happen, when there's things that get you deep inside, that could even be dark, that could even be scary to you. I mean, how do you bring light to the situation? There's a lot of that going on. Sometimes people can feel a little hopeless. That's a lot of the Neptunian vibe and the Piscean vibe that has just left. It's like you've gone through the hopeless aspect and you survived. Even when things looked like it would be hopeless, you somehow figured out a way to get out of that stuff. That was the big test of the last 18 months. You got out of a deep, scary hole. This is just about power now, because when I say power and we look at the astrology, it's really, truly the power of what you deal with in astrology as what I would call like the nucleus, like the nucleus of your soul, the nucleus of, your inner fixed energy, and whether or not you can direct that energy in the right way. We also have Mars, remember, which is squaring Neptune now. So there's sensitivities on our strength. This is questions. This is a lot of mental questions. Am I going to be okay? Sensitivity-wise, am I going to be okay? This is also starting to get into delusional thought processes, okay? And thinking that things are worse than they are, okay? So this is like why I bring up that the light returns in my May horoscope is, you know, this is a portal. Like, if you're going to bring the light back in your life, like, you know, you're going to have to step out of your own delusional aspects. You're going to really have to bring the light in yourself. The light returning is not like some magical being that brings the light for you. It's the magic of the light that you find inside. It's the magic of the light that you have to find inside and realize that it's a lot of just crap that has just finally showed up for you to bring light to it and get that darkness out. I think that there's a lot of people freaking out about, oh, you know, with all the energy going on right now and the transition of this nodal aspect in the Leo Aquarius, it's just going to be easy-go-lucky and light's going to just show up and positivity is going to happen just because that's the way the universe says it is. Well, the thing about Leo and Aquarius is that the light comes from in here. It comes from the person. It comes from the soul. It comes from the inside. This is the ultimate test of whether or not you're going to bring positivity to your life more than ever, especially with the fact that there's a full moon in Scorpio that is bringing in the nodal aspects. I mean, literally the day that the North and South node enter into Leo Aquarius officially in true node is the day that the full moon's starting to begin, is the day that Mars is squaring Neptune, your sensitivities. But what's interesting is, look at the North node is trining to Saturn. The North node is trining now to this Uranus Mercury aspect. So there's this beautiful grand trine here. And this beautiful grand trine is saying, you know what? You have the ability to believe in a more positive place and understand that crazy things happen and you can figure things out. I think that this is a lot of people being afraid that they're not going to be able to figure things out, that you know, whatever exists has come up and exposed at this cross point into this portal is freaking them out. But really, there's nothing to be freaked out about. You can figure this out. There are steps to take. There's a lot of where just bring positivity to it. Look at it in a different angle. Look at things in a different way. This is Mercury conjunct Uranus. This is a lot of when you get something weird that shows up into your life, there's also going to be a different angle to which that you can't see at this moment that you can overcome. And especially when you bring love to the table and when you bring much more positivity, and especially because we got the sun, right? The sun is in Taurus alone. So the loner sun is asking, especially because now you got to pay attention to this sun in Taurus here. You know why? Because now that the North node is in Leo, it's going to be wherever the sun is at that is going to be the trigger point to things. The reason why these Mercury retrogrades over the last 18 months were so weird and crazy was because we were a North node in a Mercury world aspect. And the reason why Neptune transits were so intense was because the South node was in Pisces. Now that the North node's in Leo, you always got to look at the sun. And then with the South node in Aquarius, you always got to look at Uranus and Saturn. And right now they're in perfect harmony. And we got Mercury here. So really, I think that, and the sun's actually not in a horrible space, but it's in a full moon. I think that you need to realize that you have more power than you realize. You have more confidence than you realize. You need to give yourself more credit. This is what this moment of moving forward is truly about, is giving yourself more credit and believing more in your own ability and believing more in your own power and believing more that you can figure crazy, wild situations out no matter how dark it might go or how insane it might feel or how radical it might be that this came out of nowhere or whatever, that you have the power to overcome it and you have the power to do it and you've got to believe. And I think that now that the South node has left Neptune, South node has left Pisces, South node has left Chiron, there's no more, oh, I've been given a bad hand. You can't play that spiritual card no more. You know, God throws us stuff for us to learn. I think is more of the card that this is, literally speaking of. Like, God's giving you crazy curveballs in weird ways because God's going to teach you something really powerful here, and it's going to actually go in the right direction, in the direction of positivity, the direction of light. But you know, we don't ever see it at that way, especially when it shows up. And I think that a lot of people are at a place where, you know what, it's time for you to really step more into believing in yourself. And I think with God, you know, a lot of people are at a point now where, you know, God isn't out to doom and gloom you. God isn't out to screw you. God isn't out to do any of this stuff, you know. God is out to truly, I think, bring the divine in yourself out. And you have to prove that. That's, you know, one thing that I think religion teaches us is they want you to try and prove your holiness or divinity to God. I think that it's a lot more broader than religion says. I think that it can cover a much broader ground. It's not only one religion or so forth, but I think that, yes, there is something about integrity now in the universe that is very high, because whenever you deal with, you know, Leo, Scorpio, Taurus with the sun, and now with the South Node in Aquarius, I mean, we're dealing with high integrity. And we're dealing with the integrity that you have to show not only to the person that's walking across the street in your way, or your family member that you're in a fight with, or your wife or your brother or your girlfriend or whatever. You know, it's the integrity first that you have for yourself. That's what these signs represent, is the integrity you are giving your own self. Are you giving yourself the own integrity, or are you doubting yourself and telling yourself, look at your soul and your identity and your persona and your humanity of self, and go, do I give myself enough credit? Do I give myself enough integrity that I can overcome this crazy tax bill that just showed up out of nowhere, or overcome this wild incident with this relationship in my life that I wasn't predicting, or whatever, this money situation I'm having, or my family crisis that's going on? Like, are you giving yourself enough integrity that you can deal with it, instead of saying, no, I can't, I'm not going to be able to, I don't have enough positivity to bring into this, I'm just waiting for the aliens to show up and fix all this? Because I'm sorry to say, with the South Node in Aquarius, everybody, guess what? For the next 18 months, it is not the aliens that will save us. It will be our own selves, you know? That's Leo. It will be our own fire inside. It'll be our own love, our own collective love that is going to save us. Not some sort of alien, or waiting for the people to just show up, or some other group to help you, or waiting on some phone call to save your life, or waiting for somebody else to just show up and help you. Because guess what? When you deal with Aquarius, let's pull up some slides here, right? Okay, let's just, you know. All right, let's see here. So when we look up Aquarius in the sun sign, right? It's the water bearer, okay? But when you have the South Node here, right? It shows up to pour water for you. Well, when the South Node's here, this is what everybody's hoping for. They're just waiting for that water to be poured for them. They're just sitting there waiting for the food line to show up. They're waiting for that help to arrive. I hate to be very honest with everybody, but this is where the universe is saying that this is where our issue is we're just hoping that somebody else, some investor, some business, some this, some person, somebody that's got more knowledge than me, somebody that's got this, somebody, not going to happen. You know why? Because Leo is where the sun is where not only the big solar eclipse is happening, the summer is happening, but, you know, this is also what we have the North Node at, which is Leo, which you've got to do it yourself. You've got to be bold. You've got to go out there and go kill the food and bring it to the table. You got to go out there and have courage, you know, because Leo is represented by courage. It is where you must roar, where you must find your inner power. It is not by showing up and waiting for a food stamp. It is not welfare. It is not. So you're going to see, especially over the next 18 months, all that stuff be taken away. You watch welfare, food stamps, anything dealing with help is going to, you watch. It's going to be something that everybody's trying to grip onto, and they're gonna finally get it. Like, let's say you've finally been waiting for welfare, or you're finally waiting for something, and you're gonna realize when you get there that it's empty. It doesn't provide you with what you really needed. Sure, it gave you enough money to go buy a loaf of bread for a week, but really it was the courage that you needed to find to maybe be able to do something else, to find whatever you needed to get in order to get it and get way more of it. You know, this is a true test of people's lives now to really step into the sign of Leo. We just dealt with the Virgo thing. You know, you had to be on the cleanliness thing. You had to be healthy. You had to figure out things of why you worry. You had to leave where you try to escape situations. And in many aspects, because Leo, Aquarius, and Virgo, Pisces are so close together, and they have a lot of similarities in ways when it deals with escape. The reason why, let's actually go back to looking at an astrology chart, and what we'll do is we will erase all this stuff. So, okay, yeah, let's erase all this. Sorry, I wrote like a crazy man on here. So while I'm erasing this, well, you can see all the stuff we went through. Okay, here we go. So what's going to be interesting about what I show you guys here is, why is Aquarius and Pisces so similar with the South Node? Is because they are both outer planets that we are having the South Node with, and both personal energies, and especially the most personal energies that you deal with Leo and Virgo. Okay, so now that the North Node is here in Leo, right, and the North Node is here in Aquarius, you got to remember that the last 18 months, we had the South Node here in Pisces, right, the sign of Pisces. Now it's coming into Aquarius. What is Aquarius ruled by? Uranus, okay, right, okay. Then Neptune is the ruler of Pisces, okay? Oh, well, hold on, that was a bad look, okay? So these are outer planets. They're out there. This is where you try to escape, both signs, Aquarius and Pisces, have their own way of escaping or leaving, per se. It's like Aquarius is just don't tell you. They just peace out, and they kind of fly around, and you don't know where they are, and they're a little weird, and they're not very connected. They come in, they drop the water, they help you with a little knowledge here, they help you with something here, and then they're gone. Pisces is a little bit more like they're right in front of you and they're gone. They're just staring at you, and they're in a totally different imaginative space. It's our subconscious, right? It's literally when you're driving and somebody's saying, so yeah, and then you're on your phone, or the best is when people are on their phones, right? People are on their phones and you're talking to them and you're like really serious. Like, I'm serious, dude. So I did this and I did that, and they go, and you're like, you're not even listening to me. What did I say? That's South Node of Pisces. So when you're dealing with South Node now moving into Aquarius, it's another outer planet. There's no, there's a change, of course. There are different energies, and there are different signs, and there's different aspects to them all. But still, there's still this kind of driftiness or hoping for some escape to your issues in your life. And I think Aquarius is the, hoping that just some genius flash of light is just going to show up and just fix it all, Because Aquarius deals a little bit more with like, aliens, random events, the lottery, things that are just going to just randomly show up. A friend that will figure it out for you, a person that'll figure it out, some group that'll figure it out. I always use this as an excuse when I was a smoker. I'd be like, oh, I quit smoking 5 years ago almost. Or actually, I quit marijuana smoking 5 years ago. Coming up soon, like this July or August, but I quit smoking cigarettes in 2013 in February. So, but my excuse when I smoke is like, oh, by the time I get lung cancer or heart, disease, they'll have somebody who figured out how to fix it. That used to be my excuse, right? But that's a really horrible excuse at the end of the day. It's a very bad excuse. But the whole idea behind now with this South Node in Aquarius is hoping that, oh, there's somebody that'll figure this situation out for me. Now with Pisces, it's, oh, there's a drug out there that I can escape the situation with. Or maybe if I just pray, God will figure it all out for me. But, Virgo is the hardcore reality of like, well, you have cancer, so we're going to have to figure out some sort of surgery to fix this thing. It's like, Leo is kind of similar, right? It's like when you move into Leo, it's like, well, the only way to get out of this is courage. The only way to get out of this is finding love. The only way to get out of this is finding your own power. Leo is the ruler of the sun. Not any other sign rules the sun. Every other sign is ruled by a planet. Or Cancer gets the moon. So why do you think in an astrology chart, Leo and Cancer are together, right? They rule the sun and the moon. Then Virgo and Gemini rule Mercury, right? Mercury. And then you have Libra and Taurus, which rule Venus. And these are the order of the planets, right? From the sun out, right? And then you have Scorpio and Aries, which rule Mars, right? Then you have Sag and Pisces, which rule Jupiter. Then, of course, you have the last two, which are Saturn ruled, which are Capricorn and Aquarius, and they oppose the moon and the sun. Why do you think whenever you have a sun and moon transit and you're dealing with Saturn, it's horrible and it's hell? Because these are the oppositions, right? These are the hardest aspects. So when you think about now that the node is in the sun part, right, and the south node is in a Saturn aspect now, okay, of Aquarius, because the other part is, and I got to say, I got to be honest with people, it's not just Uranus that the south node deals with. It deals with Saturn. Toughness, you know. There's this kind of maturity that steps up. And, you know, Leo is all about the teenager. It's all about finding that spark you had as a teenager that got through anything. But with the south node in Aquarius, it's kind of the old man. And if you look at the astrological, what do you call it? At the Last Supper, okay, Jesus' Last Supper astrology, right? And we look at the characters that are placed in this fun look. Now, they spelled Sagittarius wrong on this one, just so you guys all know. But if we look at the Aquarian, okay, well, he's an old man, okay? When you look at the Leo, he's a young guy with a lot of courage, and he's the only one with the arm on the table, right? Okay, everybody else is not got an arm on the table except Christ, of course, right? And Leo. And Leo and Christ are very similar. But there's this old man aspect to the south node. And so there's this thing where it's like, where you start to get all cranky and old school and oh, you know, I need to figure this thing out. And you rely too much on figuring it all out, opposed to just having the courage, doing it, bringing love to the situation, bringing light, and it will be figured out. I think that's a lot of where we're at right now. And I know that was a lot to bring to the table for this reading, or for what we're even talking about. Is we're at a place where you have to right now in your life realize that you just can't hope for something to be fixed by crazy figuring it out. It's more about showing up, bringing your heart, believing in yourself, and just showing up with that courage and watching your natural abilities take over. There's something about in the heat of the moment of a lion, when it shows up to do anything, or even like if you watch Lion King, I'm going to get a little like, you know, Lion King on you. There's this whole thing where it's like Simba has to just show up. It was him avoiding the whole situation and leaving and running away. It's a very Aquarian thing. Let me rebel and run away from my parents. Every Aquarius does that, you know. I fuck my parents. That's a total Aquarian thing. I'm out of here, right? And it's so funny that when you watch the whole F you thing and go to this area and it's cool for a little bit, you still got to come back and prove yourself just like Simba had to in The Lion King. And Simba had to go back, and just by showing up with courage, it took courage. It didn't take some masterful plan. It wasn't like Simba showed up with this huge, like, you know, map, and he had this book and he had this figured out, or I've got this plan figured out here. I'm going to go there and I'm going to kill Scar and then I'm going to do this. No. He just showed up with courage, and somehow the natural instincts, because you got to remember that the sun, Leo, and the lion all deal with a natural instinct to figure things out on its own in the middle of a situation with adrenaline in the heart. And love, there's something about that integrity of heart that just knows how to figure it out and come into the situation and bring it all together. So that's something to pay attention to, very much so, with where to always look at for the next 18 months and what's going on in this transition right now with the full moon in Scorpio and bringing up all this stuff with Mercury conjunct Uranus and how crazy it could feel and how intense things could feel. You know, you really have to come to a place to where you really, you know, in trust in your integrity of giving it to yourself more. You know, like that is a huge thing. So I have a lot of questions. A lot of people are already bringing up here in the chat room. We're going to go to a quick 40-second break, literally. So don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. And I will see you guys all in about 45 seconds.
The Leo King app is the world's first and leading video and notification astrology horoscope app for iPhone, Android, and computer. Get daily spiritual videos and addictingly accurate notifications alongside weekly sun sign horoscopes, tarot videos, and exciting new age entertainment videos by celebrity astrologer and TV personality David Palmer, the Leo King. Join today. You have nothing to lose with a 7-day free trial and wake up to astrology like you've never seen before.
Wake up to astrology like you've never seen before. So thanks, we are back. By the way, I have a couple things going on. We are still selling the May 2017 horoscope. You want to find out about all these portals more in depth? I go through for an hour and a half through this whole entire month and how this transit that we're talking about right now is. So if you want to download that, you can get that at inclusiveastrology.com. If you want to book a reading with me, get that at it. You just have to email astrologerdavidpalmer@gmail.com. Talk to Lauren over there. She'll hook you up with a reading date, time, everything like that. Still got that last reading rate for you available. We got lots of dates still available. Get at astrologerdavidpalmer@gmail.com. Talk to Lauren about that. We also got a new, well, it's actually not new. I've had it around for a while, but I have never really talked about it with a lot of people. I have this awesome MP3 about bringing inspiration to your life, especially now that we have the North Node in Leo, and there's going to be a lot about your courage and your integrity of your sun sign. I thought I would bring it back. It's the Inspirational Sun Sign Back to the Root MP3. Now, if you don't know what this is what I did is I created an MP3 for only $5.99, which you can go in here and you can pick what signs or what rising sign you're at. So you pick Leo, Sun sign rising, you pick Gemini rising, or whatever one you want. You add it to cart, and it literally is a 20-minute MP3 all about that energy, the rulerships, how to bring yourself back to center. Because I think that that's a very important thing during all the events that are going to be happening over the next 18 months is how do I get myself back to center of my core? Because that's where we're at, where it's about the core now. And so you need to understand your core. You need to understand how you get back to your core. I'll also talk about it depends on what house the sun is at. So, like, let's say you're a Gemini with a sun in the fourth house. I talk about that in each MP3. So it's definitely an awesome MP3 to do. It's only $5.99. You can get it at inclusiveastrology.com. You just click on MP3s at the top of my chart. So if you go to inclusiveastrology.com, click on MP3s, go right there, Inspirational Sun Sign Back to the Root MP3. And it's pretty simple to check out. And you can click on the drop-down menu, which one you want. All 12 signs are there. Pick which one you want, only for $5.99. So I am here to take your questions. So start writing your questions down. I'm going to talk about a couple more things here in the astrology chart, and then we'll go to questions, and then we will get out of here, and you can get back to your life. I can get back to my life, and we can all have a peachy keen rest of the day here, wherever you're at. So let me do an erase or erasing everything. But I definitely want to answer everybody's questions. I know there's a lot. Don't ask any personal sun sign questions, please, because there's a lot of people in here. We actually had about over 800 people in here. We're about 750 people here right now, and there's going to be tens of thousands of people who watch this thing. So any questions that help all of us try and understand what's going on always helps. I don't like to talk about just Libras or just a Taurus something because it's not fun for everybody else. Okay, so the one thing that I wanted to talk about when it comes to the astrology is I have my full moon report coming out tomorrow, which you guys all watch. So I'm not going to talk about that. But what I really want to talk about is with this nodal aspect is it's on Regulus, okay? And you really have to build your kingdom, okay? And this is whether you build the kingdom inside of your heart, build the kingdom of your core, but this is where you must build your soul's true connection to God, okay, which is love and which is the power of light. So when the light returns, it's the light that you bring from within. It is the light that you bring within even when you fall and you get back up. You know, there's this aspect of Leo that, you know, there's like a teenage aspect to Leo. It falls, but it always gets back up. That's why Cancer is the 12th house for Leo. It's because the 12th house of Leo is, it needs to know how to take care of itself better. And so when you have the North Node in Leo, we're all learning to have to take care of ourselves better. We're all learning to take care of ourselves better by picking ourselves back up and bringing courage and bringing love and bringing that core back. And I think that's so important right now. So we're going to go to the questions right now and see what people have to say in the chat. So if you're in the chat, you know, I'm here looking at the questions. There's a lot of questions, and I'm nitpicking through them. I'm just going to be honest with you all. This is a good one. How can you best utilize this energy to pursue a mission-focused career? Thank you. This is from Melissa. Well, focus. The one thing about North Node and Leo is Leo has a lot of focus if it loves it. So if you're trying to do things based on what other people think are good, or what your family says you should do, or what your best friend says, or especially what TV or the news says, or what other people say, or what society has said is the best for you, you will fail. You will fail miserably. You will fail hard because you are not focused on something that you truly want on your own, that you love in your own way. It's the uniqueness of Leo Aquarius that makes you great. It's the uniqueness of the kingdom that you build that is create. And the focus comes from only doing it the way that you want to. You know, I'll use an example that's on my own. And you know what? I hate, you know what? The people that, somebody says, all you do is talk about yourself? It's like, no, okay. So I talk for 38 minutes, haven't talked about myself at all. But I'm using an example of my life to make this easy. First of all, and I don't forget about them anyway. And that's what I'm trying to tell people, is to not care what anybody thinks. But I race jet skis. I race a Sea-Doo. Lots of people have been telling me that I need to move to a Yamaha. Now, I went and bought the Yamaha, and I hate it. Don't like it. I think it's a piece of crap, personally. And so I race my Sea-Doo. And so, you know, people look at me like I'm stupid or something. Like, why do you race your Sea-Doo? Even though the Sea-Doo's got more horsepower and it turns better. And to me, it's like, I look at it and I'm like, you know. So anyway, this weekend, I beat a lot of people. One guy I can't beat. He's got a Yamaha. He's been doing it like way longer than I have, like 30-something years. So I got to beat this guy, you know, that's the guy I got to beat. And I'm going to have to do it on my Sea-Doo. Now, that's just the way it's going to be. But I did beat a bunch of the Yamahas that everybody was saying I couldn't beat. So it kind of gave me a little bit of confidence leaving this weekend, like, I can do this, you know. And I think that when it comes to your business and you being focused on your business is you need to actually think about this, like, if I love it and I do it the way that I want to do it and I'm focused on it because I love it so much, and even though other people might think it's crazy or they might not like it or they're talking bad about it or they're criticizing about it, or you let that criticism or you let that worry about what other people say affect you, you can't be focused because you're not. You got to go all the way with the way that you want to do it. I hope that helps, Melissa. That is the best way to handle a transit like this. How do you think relationships in our lives could be affected through the next 18 months? Good question, Michelle. I think that relationships are going to be affected in this way. Number one, we are going to be dealing with, of course, Leo, which represents romance and the heart. And then we have the South Node in Aquarius. I think that this is going to bring up a lot of the unions that we have between groups and people are associated with whether or not they're based upon our real authentic self or not. So this is going to be bringing up relationships that are truly authentic to the real person you are, not the ego-identified self, not the persona that you thought that you were, not the persona that, you know, you've tried to be cool with in society. You know, good examples like when I lived in Hollywood, there's all these people trying to live and like be this certain way, and that's not who they really are. I knew who they really are once I got into their apartment or once I got outside of the red carpet or whatever. It's like, no, I know who you really are. That's not who you are. There's going to be a lot of that showing up now at the front door. People are going to be like, oh, you know what? That's not who I really am. And they're going to continue to maybe try to go down that road or continue to try to be that person. The universe is going to be like, no, throwing in people that are more authentic to their life, you know? And I think with relationships, it's like relationships are going to come in, whether they're romantic, whether it's business, whether it's, in all aspects that are really more connected with that more childlike, unique persona and deep soul of the kind of person that you are. And you know, those are the ones that you want to pay attention to. Those are the ones that you want to give your love to. Those are the ones that you want to make your connection with, because they are all star. But if you're doing it because, no, I want to be friends with this person because I think they're cool and I think that they'll get me somewhere that I want to go, they're not authentic to you. Yes, this video will be in my app later. All these videos always go up under the educational aspect on the app. Or if you have Android, they just show up in the feed. Somebody asked, did you say something to have the sun in the fourth? Yes, I just described what that means per sign in my sun sign MP3 series, which you can buy at inclusiveastrology.com. Somebody asked, should we apply your sun sign horoscopes for our rising signs too? Technically, you can. I am somebody who, like for me, let's use an example, okay? I've got a late rising. I'm a 26-degree Leo rising. So if I watch a Leo rising thing, sometimes my planets are actually not in Leo stuff. It's in Virgo stuff because I'm so late. So sometimes I'll watch a Virgo rising because, well, I don't watch horoscopes, but I would because I have those planets more in Virgo. You need to be an astrologer, you know? So focus on your sun sign stuff. Your rising sign stuff can be a little bit hard because if you have an early rising or a late rising, it could be another sign that those planets are in those houses and they're not even in those same houses. So I think people get so caught up in the bullshit of, oh, I need to watch this rising signs horoscope. There's no such thing as a rising sign horoscope when the rising sign is a 30-degree marker that's moving all over the place and it could be affected differently for you. I'd pay attention to your sun sign. You know your rising sign. You know the qualities that are happening in that space. Watch that rising sign, but don't take everything to heart, you know. Also, maybe watch the sign that is in front of it, maybe, or behind if you know where those planets are in your chart. But that's a little bit more advanced. If you're not an advanced astrologer, just pay attention to the sun sign stuff, you know. Also, this brings up a good question that nobody brought up. Is but I get it a lot, is like on the horoscopes. If you're in Australia, like, and you think that you're a day ahead, you're not a day ahead. You're on the same planet, we're in the same energy, okay? In our calendar, it looks a day ahead, but when I do a horoscope for today, Tuesday at 4 p.m., and I know it's your Wednesday at like whatever, you're 16 hours ahead, it's like the end of your day, Wednesday or whatever, just think of it as my horoscope for Tuesday is your horoscope for Wednesday, okay? My horoscope for Wednesday is not your horoscope for Wednesday because you're not on that time. So, you know, people on the other side of the earth got to get this time thing figured out because, like, if somebody put up a horoscope in Australia for Thursday, I would know that I should watch it for Wednesday because their Thursday is my Wednesday. Hope that makes sense. That one I've been trying to answer individually for people for a long, long time, about time. Let's see here. I'll take 2 more questions. Okay, a lot of people have been wanting to know about the portals. So portals, you know, to me are moments in time where the universe has opened up a whole entire new chapter into your life. You're about to step into that chapter, and it's a, I like the term portal because I really look at it as this, you're crossing over into another zone, and you can feel the swooping around of the energy when you move into that energy. So I like the term portal. And that's what it is. It's this new zone that we're stepping into that's going to replace or take you out of a lot of what you've been going through from the last portals. And it's been a long time since I said there was a portal. I can't even remember. Even though, you know, we'd have to look up all my videos. I've done over 4,000 videos. But, you know, it's like, wow, when was the last portal? You know, it's been a while since there's been a portal. And usually I always think eclipses bring portals. But I think that this nodal aspect changing with a full moon, with Mercury and Uranus, and with the Venus retrograde ending, and with Mercury retrograde finally out of retrograde, and especially with what we're seeing with the preparation of the summer, with Saturn and Uranus right now. I mean, there's a lot of things going on that are like saying, this is a portal. This is a time that we are moving into a different zone. God wants us to really pay attention to this transition in our life, and that's what I call portals. Somebody said, so we are our own hero. Is it really any different than that any other time? Of course not. We always got to be the hero in our life. But I think that we're at a time where more than ever, you're going to come into situations where the universe is teaching you to be a better hero, a stronger hero than ever right now. I would say that this is raising your hero to the next level. I would say that this is raising your truth of your power to the next level. So it's almost like you're upgrading your heroics, you're upgrading your courage, you're upgrading your ability to be a hero in life, because we have to keep, you know, if you're always the superhero, like Batman or Superman, even though I'm not a Superman guy, I'm more of a Batman guy, like, you know, you're going to have crazier characters come your way and they're going to be harder to deal with. So you're going to have to raise it and beat them to be a better hero. You know, if it was the same old, you know, people all the time, you know, it's kind of like, no, you're not a superhero anymore. You're just a hero. You know, this makes you a superhero. You rise up, make it a little bit stronger. Hope that was a good question. Hope that helps. Anyways, I'll take one more. Okay, I'll do the last one. That was the last one. Gabriel Kidd. Don't feel like I'm upgrading. Quite the opposite. That's exactly what it is you've got to go faith. God doesn't just upgrade you for free. Like, that's what I'm saying, is this whole entire video is like saying that this isn't going to be like just showing up and upgrading for you. Like, courage, strength comes from you doing it yourself. Like, of course it's going to feel opposite. You got to walk into those new aspects with courage. Those places that you don't feel like you have power. Those places that feel like you just want to disconnect from, that you don't want to have in your life, that you want to get rid of, that feel like you can't beat them, that you feel like you can't overcome. That's where you become strong. That's where you become courageous. That's where you bring light and love, and you show your light and love, are in those positions where you believe that you can't have love or happiness. Make sure that you get that MP3 Inspirational Sun Sign Horoscope. It's available now at, of course, inclusiveastrology.com. It's only $5.99 for each sign. Pretty cool. So you just pick whatever sign you are or rising sign. Also, my May 2017 video is still available. It's at inclusiveastrology.com, going into this whole entire nodal axis shift and the portal that I'm talking about from May 9th to May 19th and 20th. That is going to be extreme. This next 11 days, I cover that in the video. You can get that now at inclusiveastrology.com. If you want to book a reading with me, astrologerdavidpalmer@gmail.com. Talk to Lauren, send her an email. There's also a phone number at the bottom of my YouTube. There's a phone number all over the place. We'll be posting it up. Thanks so much for all your support. Thanks for being a part of Leo King app. Thank you for all your support. I truly appreciate it. I know it's been wild. I know it's been crazy. There's a lot of energy. This is a big shift. Don't lose it. This is a big full moon in Scorpio. Don't go dark on me, folks. This is just a minor shift in the reality, and it's a very positive one, but it's coming with the intensity and the powerful of change. And you know what? You can feel that change. It's overwhelming, kind of like how an earthquake happens. And even though it seems scary and it feels weird, it's shifting the tectonic plates to a position that maybe is better. So it might be scary as we transition here, but it really is not. Thanks so much for all your support. Thank you for being a part of the Leo King app. And I will see you guys on the app inside, if you've got it, for your daily horoscopes and sun sign videos every day. Take care.
The Leo King app is the world's first and leading video and notification astrology horoscope app for iPhone, Android, and computer. Get daily spiritual videos and addictingly accurate notifications alongside weekly sun sign horoscopes, tarot videos, and exciting new age entertainment videos by celebrity astrologer and TV personality David Palmer, the Leo King. Join today. You have nothing to lose with a 7-day free trial and wake up to astrology like you've never seen before.
Wake up to astrology like you've never seen before.